What's up, y'all? It's Jam and Sam, and today we are going to continue our series of recomposing DK64, or rearranging DK64. And this time we're going to start with Angry Aztec. And I know that it was sort of similar to the Temples stage from Donkey Kong Country, so maybe we can take some inspiration from Evelyne's sort of style here. And take some inspiration particularly from the voices of the temple from Donkey Kong Country. So that would be nice. And I've got some instruments here that I thought sounded nice from primarily a lot of them are from part of Africa and things like that. Let's see. Let me see if all is well here. Okay. So I've got, let's see, this is a little bit of a percussion thing here. If it I have to turn on my thing. Now the stage in question was obviously inspired by Aztec stuff, and the art looks Aztec, but the environment doesn't. The environment is a desert, and I don't think there were any deserts where the Aztecs lived, so it was kind of, it seems more it's inspired, like the stage is inspired by both Middle Eastern environment and Aztec art. So it's we can sort of like mix and match there. So I did some research into Aztecs, like what the music, like the instruments of the Aztec culture, what we know of it anyway, because I'm largely choosing my own instrumentation here, based on what I think the composers might have chosen. And so what people know about Aztec culture is that there was something called a death whistle. Let me see if I can find that here. They uncovered through archaeology an Aztec death whistle, which made the sound of like a scream. So I got a sound of that, and then they also had lots of pipe flutes and drums, of course, and like different clay things. Mostly they had different little, like they would have like turtle shells that were tuned and things like that. Mostly it's like mallets and pipe and flutes. So I've got a little bit of that. Let's see. So there's that you can tune, and I got this. So what I want to do here is like take all the pieces that I've covered and like start trying to like build ideas with them, and then sort of build and sort of see what happens from that. Welcome, Jamie. All right, so I want to start with these baskets. These sort of sound like gourd rattles because the Aztecs had this sort of thing. And there was a part of Voices in the Temple which I like a lot that had like this sort of shaker sound. If you remember, it was like and so that was sort of being simulated with a hi-hat, but we can do. And then I don't have a long articulation here, but there is I found a sample that was like some shaker stuff. Let me see if I can find the one. Yeah, so I found this from Heart of Africa, and so this is sort of. And so if you cut off the beginning, it sort of has the sound of like just a long shaker articulation. So if you go like this. Nice. And then if you like make it a little shorter. So then it sort of gives that impression of a long shaker. And so I want to do like this sort of pattern. I'm starting from a new project here from the last one we went on. And I want to do like let me go to step here. Since we have like a round robin. And then on the fourth beat of that, you have this that sounds sort of like it comes from the same thing. Maybe it might take a. It might sound a little bit different, but that could be doable. And then I also want, because like usually the patterns they would have is like just a 4 on the floor, so I kind of want to add that in a little bit. But maybe not that fast. Maybe like something like that. And then let's see, what else do I have? Let's call this shaker. And this, I like this because you can do like a tune with it, or you can do. It doesn't really sound good as just a thing, so that would probably be like a tuned thing. Yeah. And then what's my second thing? I have some chants. I got some chants, and this is like a, I mean, of course there's no, like, this is from Vocal Planet, and of course there's no Aztec thing, but there is like some chant that I found, a Brazilian one, and that's at least the close to this, like it's not very close, but it's the same sort of region anyway. But I thought this sounded good. So I thought this particular section sounded good. I'm gonna have to raise that up. Let's see. These first 4 notes, I think, sound great, especially if you put reverb on them. It's gonna sound great. Whoops. Nice. So we'll keep that around. Let's call these chants. And then there was, speaking of chants, there was another one that this was like Colombian or something, and I think it's like a beat. So, and I think it's like 2 bars. So if we push 2 bars, and then you put it down, it should stretch through the whole thing. That would be a good like beatboxing thing that you could have. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's see, chant 2. Let's call this chant 2. And then, well, actually, I had an idea that I want to do for the beginning, because the beginning is like a cave, right? So, unlike the jungle, you start in like a cave, and so I kind of wanted to do something. I kind of had an idea for that, where we do the cave variation first, and then go on to the neck, and then go on to like the main theme. I think I want to do like a side. I want to do like a side tune with each of the main tunes, like for every song. So this one's gonna have a cave tune for that, and I have an idea for that. I wanted to open it with the first melody of Voices in the Temple. Let's see. And I wanted to use this clay flute here. Let's see. I think I wanted to use that one. I think I had an idea for, let's see. One of those sounded better, I think. I think this one sounds better for that. What did I use? No, that's the center. Nice. And so I want to just include a quick trill. Okay, actually 1 bar. And then I have to give that reverb because reverb is going to be really important here. Let's see. Yeah, I gave it a mixer track. So let's say this one, it goes out to 3 and 4. And then we go to processing. And we find the ney flute. And this one goes to channel 1. And then I want to take one of these and dock it to the right for a reverb bus. Let's call this reverb. And for the reverb, since it's a tunnel, let's use a TSAR 1R for room simulation. And then let's make it really long, like 2.5 seconds. And then we can do like 20%. And then let's call this tempo flute. Call it ney. I want to be accurate here. Let's call it ney. And so then you go. Oh, it's not going. Why is it not going? Interesting. Yeah, it's not listening. So it's not actually sending it to the correct out. Interesting. Okay, I'll just put it to this for now. So that it has to behave. Nice. Okay, so you got reverb. I think it could use a little more reverb. Maybe 29%. Let's see. Nice. Welcome, Pelwers. Posing, do you use sound fonts or do you find the original samples? I've tried using sound fonts where they just don't have the depth, so I'm assuming it's OG. Yeah, I use some of the same samples that I use for the restored version, which are the OG samples before they were put in the game. Or in some cases, they're like higher quality equivalents because, like, while Dave and the team may have used a lot of like romplers, which have like or workstation keyboards and drum machines, which have lower quality sound. You can find the same sound in sample CDs usually. So I find higher quality equivalents of that. But for these in particular, I went and found new ones from the same sample libraries that the composers use, but not necessarily the exact same samples that were used in the game. Like this one is a new one. This is from the EMU Classic Series library. And I know that Grant used a lot of EMU for this game, so it kind of calls back to this, and there was some EMU being used by David Wise as well. So let's see. And so I want another flute. I want to open it very minimally, like because it to sort of set the mood. But I want to put it with another flute, and because it's the, it's the cave, so you don't want a lot of like stuff going on. Oh yeah, I have this conch shell, which sounds to me like a very good ambient horn. And I don't know if I need to loop it, but good. Nice, that loops well. So I want to see if I can do like maybe a power chord, and then I want to do a long note of that, and And I want to put this also in channel 1. And I want it to have like a pitch bend downward a little bit. Actually, I think I want it to go down for a long time and then quickly up. And maybe both of them should definitely stop at the same time. But I feel like they should go on for longer, or maybe the tempo should be slower. Dun, 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 dun. Let me tap the tempo, because I don't exactly know what tempo I'm thinking of. Maybe 90. 90 sounds good. And I feel like the trill should be faster. Nice, I like that. And so I want the song to start off with that. And then I want to include the bass drum that plays in the caves from Donkey Kong 64. Because I liked how it was like, it would be like these sudden sounds and then ambience. Nice. I feel like it should be pitched up a little bit though. Yeah, there we go. I feel like it should be even longer still. Like it should go for the full bar, and then like the thing comes in. Yeah, and then maybe here. Okay, and then I would like to come in with like da 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 do da. And then this part is gonna be later. But that's not right for the tempo. Let's see. Maybe it needs to be slower. Yeah, the tempo is gonna need to be slower. Or maybe it needs to be double, like because I know the main song is gonna have to be. So maybe if we tap that tempo out and then just make it be like that, like 100, and then we just tap it out to like 2 bars. Oh wait, it actually has to be shorter now because the tempo is slower. Okay, and then the drum comes in. Okay, so I think it's like, yeah, 2 bars of that, and then... Actually, oh yeah, we sped it up, so it would go to here. Maybe it goes even higher up. I'm having a little trouble deciding. No, I think it was better like that. Like a short. Yeah, it's better faster because we want more activity. We don't want it to be too slow. And then maybe that part comes in. And it needs to be longer. Okay, I feel like it's here. Okay, and then there I want to have the echo before. And then maybe directly after that the bass drum comes. Actually, I liked it better whenever it was like this sort of speed. So let's move this. Yeah, that way I'm making a reference here, but I'm gonna spend most of the time in like doing Aztec, Angry Aztec. Mario Galaxy movie. They're making a movie of Mario Galaxy. Cool. Okay, so let me go here. And then move this. Okay, let's put it to here. Okay, and then the... Nice. Okay, so I want to do that horn again, but this time lower for some movement. Then maybe without the pitch bend this time. And then here now. Nice. I like that. And then the drum has to get reverb too. Let's remove the name on this because now it's just kind of everything with reverb. Nice. Okay, and then after that point, I think I would like to come in with the with like a choir or something. Like it has to like build up. I would say, welcome Ernesto Valle. Jam it himself. What's good? What's good? Hi, welcome Frade. Welcome Shoyo. Oh, I'm not sure I speak this. Oh wait, I do speak this. Nice. Yeah, alright. So this would be when you first get to the level, like in the tunnels. Okay, and then for the I think I want the beat to come in after that. Let's go with a shaker. Actually, you know, it sounds kind of weird with the long shaker. I kind of prefer the I want to try just doing a sequential thing. No, it has to be quicker than that. No, absolutely not. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Okay, and then I kind of want to come in with the, what's that, well, there's a choir. I don't know if I want to use, I think I like the DK64 choir, but it was used a lot in Banjo Kazooie, and so we want to avoid making reference to Banjo Kazooie to an extent. But I have a choir here, which might be useful. Or we could use the the Jupiter 8 strings, because those were used in the temple. See, this is channel 12, And so if I go there, and that would be nice. But I want to try the Jupiter 8 actually. Whoops. Let me get the strings preset. And if you go down here, it almost sounds reminiscent of the choir, to be honest. The only thing is it has too much attack. I kind of want to make a reference to that, like with the string line in the beginning of the song, where it does that sort of thing. Yeah, so we can do something like that. Let's say this is intro, and then we do. But this has to decay after a while, so let's turn the sustain to 0 and then the decay has to be longer. Okay, so let's go. I think I like it better without, but we'll keep those in mind. Let's go to the next thing and call this strings. Then just do the and I remember this is like a thing from the tempo in DK64 where they just did the strings with a real quick like doo doom. It wasn't that quick. Okay, and then if we copy paste that, shift it down, do like that. Nice. And we can also, maybe we can layer the strings with that, like the strings from the temple, the original temple theme, just do. Ah, I like that. Also, one idea I have is, what if we... So, the downbeat for the temple tune is kind of more... Da-da-da-da-do-dum. So if we do like that, we can have it be an introduction. Like so. Okay, but I kind of like the I can't hate that I keep having to move this thing. Nice, that's perfect. And then it ends earlier. Actually, I want some space here. And then... Nice. And then, so then we can have this introduction beat. Oh, also, I want to kind of bring in the, what's it? The rattlesnake sound that happens in the tunnels in DK64. Here it is. Where to put it? I want to wait for this thing, I think. Nice. I wanted to kind of start when that last note hits and then end whenever that last note ends. But I want more reverb. Not only do I want more reverb, but I also want more, I want an echo there. Because, like the same echo from the tunnels. So that was like a I'd say a one-step echo, and then it does ping pong, where it flips the stereo, is basically what that means. Very strong, and then, which means that since it flips, and it also started with like pretty much all in one ear. So I wanted to do like have that be almost all the way to one side, and then maybe have the conch shell all the way to the other side. There we go. One of those is peaking a little bit. Yeah, now we're cooking. That's peaking a bit. Now let's put a limiter on the master, so we don't. Okay, so I want to now separate these because I don't want the echo on everything. Now we can separate this into like 2 and 3. So let's give 2 also reverb. But let's make 3, another one 3 without reverb because we don't want the drum to have reverb. Definitely don't want that echo. I want on the baskets. I want echo, but not. And Contact hasn't been working with this stuff, so I don't know if it's actually going to do what it's supposed to do. Let's see, baskets should be 2. Oh, seems it is working now. So let's put this back down. What's happening here? No, this Nie flute is supposed to go. Wow, it's still going to 2. Hold on. Why is it going to 2? The Nye flute is supposed to go to... That's really weird. And nothing I do changes that, so... Wow. That's so it basically just takes everything and puts it in the same one. So if I do this, it's not going to differentiate between the... Oh, I guess it's not even taking the name, so I guess I have to change these. I just have to switch these around, really. So this is now called African baskets. That's now the flute. And then let me see if the African baskets go to that. No, they don't. So the African baskets, where are those going to? Okay, so that's going now to the Brazilian thing. So everything is shifted +1, I guess? Yeah. Interesting. Wow, Contact is such a bad plugin when it comes to outs, like mixing outs. Crazy. And kind of true to the original, I want those baskets to now like have a pitch bend up whenever it does the long one. Just for nostalgia. So let's go and generators, so drag that knob there, and that's the tuning knob for this, so we do Control I. And then we'll drag this up a bit, right click, go up. Oh, nice. And then it goes back down when it goes to the new bar. And I want there to be sort of like because usually when you do a shaker, there's like some smaller hits. So maybe you do. Actually, I think it should be faster. No. Yeah, there you go. It's more of a beat. Cool. Okay, in the Jupiter 8, I want to get reverb as well. Nice. I think that's a good combination of the Voices of the Temple and Angry Aztec. Alright, we got some activity in here. Welcome, King Nick. I had no idea Eveline composed that track. Oh, she did not actually compose that track. Well, you mean the Voices of the Temple, sorry. Forgot about what we were talking about. Yeah, she wrote, I think, for it, the Forest tune from DK1. The Ice Cave chant, the Ice Cave one. And what else did she write? Oh, the map theme. I think those are the only ones she wrote, but there might be more. The game Kumi. Yeah, it's they I guess they don't really give her as much credit because she's not around anymore, maybe. I mean she was kinda like overshadowed by Dave, but she also exited like music. Like she doesn't really do lots of music anymore. I think she does like I heard she does like painting now. So I guess people kind of like lost touch with her because she got out of gaming. But she's a good composer. Her compositions never felt Donkey Kong to me. Welcome synthesizer. Yeah, they were more Banjo Kazooie because Donkey Kong 64 ended up being rushed in the end, so they got great grant and yeah, actually most of the compositions in Donkey Kong 64 were scrapped Banjo Kazooie beta tunes, and there was one that was from Project Dream. Welcome, Ernesto. Your DK resolutions get me through the workday basically every day. Nice, glad to hear it. Lovely. Glad to see people listening to this at work instead of working. I actually mean seriously because I'm like, yeah, forget work. Music is better. Nice. Time to lock on while listening to the background. Lovely. This game is underrated. Only DK Rap is in Smash Bros. Exactly. Didn't even. I kind of like I like Smash Bros, but I like DK more. Welcome, Carlo Nassar. I'm about to make a few requests your servers, but your sample sources shouldn't be too hard to find. Yes, I'll get to that. I'll look at that whenever I'm done. So yeah, leave it in the feedback frequency. That's the place for that. It depends on the request. I guess sample sources could be. I'm not really gonna be Gestapo about it. Like if it's related to whichever it's related to, whatever it seems related to. Welcome, SGP guy. Came to your stream because I'm interested. Also, I'm Russian. So you came to my stream because you're interested and you're Russian. Is like Russian have something to do with it? That's funny. It's like I'm Russian, so I'll come to this guy's stream. Nice. Welcome. And Privit. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's basically I'm trying to say the only Russian greeting I know. Anyway, so we've got a good little thing going with this. Ooh, that's nice. And so then you come in with this beat. And it kind of comes suddenly, so I kind of want to lead into it with something, like maybe the ending, the long shaker. There we go. And maybe we could have some sort of like weird ambient sounds because Eveline in the Voice of the Temple did like some crazy ambient effects with the samples provided, so that could be something good. But I think I'll save that for later. And then maybe in the melody here, I'm torn between either. I think I either want to go. I probably want to go into Angry Aztec at this point because it like keeping the simple melody going would be dragging it on. So, because either I would go into or just go straight into Angry Aztec. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. Dun, da, 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 da. Dun, dun, da, 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 dun, dun. Or maybe, if I want to do that, I have to go by the root thirds. Dun, da, 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 dun, dun, dun. And I like that this is kind of I like the kind of the idea of like not really kind of ignoring the meter here because that's kind of what Eveline did with Voices of the Temple. Nice. So I think I would like to start by going into the Angry Aztec theme here. And for this theme, I might use the play flute. That would be a nice one because this play flute, channel 4, would start out like that, and then let's go find first empty and call this main melody. Let's go. Let's quantize this because it's a little bit over. Okay, and I want most of those notes to be shorter, actually. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, actually, I only need the step. Interesting. Okay, and I want this to go to 7 and 8. Let's see which one Contact is making that one. Okay, this one. Okay, but this I wanted only one echo. And I want there to be spread. And it has to pick a side. Nice. Okay, and then we can continue the melody with, let's see, let me check what people are saying. Is Angry Aztec the only song you're restoring, or you're restoring the whole soundtrack? We'll see. I definitely plan to do more DK64 in the future. And I've already done some DK64, but I haven't done like the whole, like all the variations in the levels. But I plan to like continue it with like, okay, finish the variations in the popular ones like Frantic Factory and Creepy Castle and Crystal Caves, and then sort of do new levels. But it might be a long process, and I don't know how far I'll go. I'll probably just cover all the main sort of themes, like the main level themes, and then call it that, unless someone wants to commission more. But okay, so let's do. So now let's for the next two bars. Lovely. And so it's a little bit kind of rugged, but that's kind of the way that the temples in DK1 were a little bit. So we'll leave it like that. Okay, but this, I think it needs to go here. Yeah. Actually, I think it would be better if you just do like some space here. Yeah. Maybe. Actually, I would like to like do this sort of thing. Yeah, make it shake on the beat. Nice. Okay, let's do that. Actually, I kind of like it better like this. Okay, and the rattlesnake might be able to be like. Okay, but this. No, I like it better like this. Dun, dun, and then we do dun 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 dun. Okay, and then you come in with dun da da da. Which actually, usually you want to do the, I want to do the dun da da da. Nice. So dun da da dun da 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 do. Okay, so da 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 dun. I like that. I like that sort of like stop at the end, and then we go into something else. Okay, and at this point, we've already spent 43 seconds on this, so I think I'll go into the main tune. Nice. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because that'll get a little bit boring, but yeah. Welcome, Enroll. Want to say can't stay, but I want to say it's a really cool project. Best of luck. Thank you. Glad you enjoy. Thanks for gracing us with your what little bit of time you have. About those two castle themes you told me on Discord were both catacomb themes. It's been clear which one is called. I don't remember this. You have to remind me. Two castle themes? I'm not sure. Yeah. Nice indeed. Thank you, sir. Okay, so now let's go into the main theme. So this is where we'll have some fun and we stop being creepy and start being groovy. So, for that thing, let's go. I'm not really sure how I want to start it. I know I probably just with the drum beat, but let's go into continuing our instruments, because I had this chant, and then once I have all the pieces, I'll decide what I want to do with them. And so these will probably be sort of at the end of phrases to spice them up. Like, I'm not going to put them in succession, but I want to cut this part off because this is like... Okay, and this chant is definitely going to get lots of reverb, whether and that's speaking of reverb, when we go here, I definitely want to have less reverb, but I'm gonna see about that. Even though this chant will definitely have lots of reverb. And so let's send this to, what are we at? 7 and 8? No, we're at 9 and 10. So, I think this is just going to be the next one right here. I think I do want echoes on this, but I want more of like a delay, which is like a longer thing. So let's send that to a new out. And so this will be delay, which will use Dave's typical 1.5 steps for this, which would be 1 to the rate over 1.25. Nice, much more ambient. Okay, and then it gets reverb, which will make it even better. And let's make it quiet, because I want it to be very much in the background. I want it to get very long. Actually, all of it can get very much longer reverb. call this chant. Brazil chant. Let's check on the... And actually, the drum can get some reverb. There we go. And then I think after that I kind of want the shaker to stop. Ooh, what an ending. I like the way that reverb tail ends it. Nice. Okay, so these chants. What is this? Nah, don't need it. Okay, so that's a little bit campy, but we can try that out. So this I just want to go to like no reverb. If it's possible, put the pitch up to it. I want to put the pitch up because it sounds a little goofy. Yeah, that just sounds bad. Yeah, it just sounds bad like when you sample and when you manipulate it like that. Let's give that chorus since it's mono. I like it with full chorus. Okay, so enough of that. Now let's find first empty, and then let's continue with more stuff. So the chanter pipes are like a sort of a horn that I found. I think that's, yeah. So it's like good for Middle Eastern stuff. Or it can go. It's very good for that sort of like bassy choir sound that was in the main theme. So let's I want to do both that that thing we did before with the dum do dum. Let me see what people are saying. I liked it better when it was lower. Which one? Ah, you mean the you might mean the chant, yes? Welcome, Emperor Kagato. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I tried. Do do. Oh, okay. I think it was like... Okay, it was this low. Nice. Just copy this and drag it down here. Okay, and then B. Okay. Okay, and then we do. Remember the choir introduced itself with the do do do. And it did like 2 bars, and then it did do dee dum. Okay, so then we just take that and layer it. Oops. Okay, let's call it, and let's call this horn-ish, horn thing, something, just horn. Let's see, and then let's find first empty. Let's call the, I don't know what to call this yet. Let's go. There's some Middle Eastern type stuff. Basically some something like this. So we do, and this would be at the end of a phrase, so you do da na 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 na. So it would be more like half of that. Okay, and the downbeat would be sort of like here. Like, well, we can remove space by being like, make the downbeat here. Da na 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 na. Nice. So I think that's what the next phrase. Let's try that out. Nice. And let's give that a decay, like so that it's not just like staying the same pitch all the time. So yeah, it's currently got 12 seconds. Let's give it 2.5. Nice. Okay, so let's send that to 11 and 12. And then let's send 11 and 12 to for now basically just 2. I do want this to be quite an ambient thing. I want it to be louder too. And then maybe it can do the main melody. That sounds kind of like a harmonica up there. It'd be useful for Gangplank Galleon. Yeah, not Gangplank Galleon, Gloomy Galleon. Let's I'm gonna try recording that line. It might be easier and might yield some good results. First, let's see what people are saying. We're heading to Morocco on this one. Yeah, exactly, because it's sort of like is that more like Morocco? I don't know. But I was thinking more Egypt, but I don't know. Yeah, that's it. All right. Lovely. Okay. So, let's record this thing. And so I want to do, let's see. No, I've messed up already. Hold on. Let's record from here. Okay, and my timing is probably going to be off because I'm using the I have latency with when I'm on stream, so it's kind of hard to play in time. But I can stretch this thing out and see if it works like that. Looks like it's pretty well in time so far, except it's drifting a little bit, and there might be some mistakes when I quantize it. I would say that this has to go a little bit more. Okay, then that will be that. So. Nice. And then we can also get it to play that other theme, but I have some ideas for that. If that'll work yet. Let's see. So let's call this, I don't know what you call this instrument, I just know the sound of it. Let's call it chanter pipes, or let's call it chanter pipes, I guess. And the scale for this for Angry Aztec is like sort of it's an A sharp harmonic minor, which means that you have, I'm gonna play this on a more pleasant thing. Whoops, that's not a pleasant thing. So it's like which is like, let's see, you have the minor scale. It's like taking the minor scale, which would be and then you take this G sharp and you raise it to A, so that you have this weird sort of mysterious, rather than, and so basically what the song is doing is it's spending more time in C than anywhere else, which means that it's like a C Phrygian sort of thing, but it has that raised, what is that, a 6th or 7th? I think it's a 7th, raised 7th for minor anyway. So it sort of sounds Egyptian in a way. It's like we got a whereas Egyptian scales weren't quite like that. It's they had less. I think Egyptian scales are more just like something like that. It wasn't really as you can't do a lot with it, but and the Aztec scale is more just the Dorian mode where it's just like let's see. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty. I like that. I like the scale that we're working with here in Angry Aztec. It works pretty well for the mood. More like 67. Ah. Oh yeah, that meme number that everybody cares about for no reason. When I was a kid, it was more like 69. That was what we all liked to say. And that's a more, let's say it's more rooted in psychology than just a random number. Anyway, with that being said, let's move on to the next thing, which is, I don't know yet. Play flute, we've already kind of done stuff with that, but I could use the, you do the melody. Yeah, I want to kind of copy that last melody. Put that in there. And we could also do, like, maybe we could also do that run with that, because it would kind of be nice to layer that run with other things. And so this delay, I want to kind of keep this to the caves, but we'll probably have this be a thing that goes into the cave, where it's going into the caves. We'll have to figure out how to do that later, but right now I want to disable this and then have it enabled later on in the main melody. Or let's call, this is not the main melody, so let's call this the cave melody. Tunnel melody. Tunnelity. That'll be fun. And then, let's see. Okay, so let's now put a time marker here to indicate the downbeat. And then I'm going to put this up an octave. I think it would sound better. Ooh, that sounds mysterious. And now the reverb, I want to make it less. So let's do that, like Control I to paste what's already there. And then we're gonna go 50%. And I also want to go in and make the reverb time less when you get out of the caves. So in the caves, it'll be Control I. And then once you get out, it'll be more like this. Except that I'm not sure the environment that you're in like warrants reverb at all. So maybe we'll just disable it. Yeah. I would say let's cut that. And then let's instead disable it. But I do need it to be on in the, for the... I do need it to be on for the, chant, so maybe... Let's say... that this doesn't do that. Instead, you change where the, thing goes, but all this is going to be... in a different mixer track anyway. So maybe it helps if we put them all in correct mixer tracks now. So maybe I'll just map that out. Let's see. Clay. This can be the clay flute. And then let's make this the shaker. That one already has it, good. Why is it? Oh, okay, because I was hitting the note. Let's call this Brazil. Let's call this Colombian chant. Okay, and the conch shell can get its own mixer track, which will get reverb. Okay, Jupiter 8 is going to get its own mixer track. I want to raise the highs on that. Yes. Lovely. Okay, now the chanter pipes will get their own thing. I can't remember where. Nope. I'm just messing everything up because I don't know which one is which, so let's just auto map all the outputs. How about that? So the shaker is the same. Cool. Oh wait, this is not the clay flute, this is the Nie. Okay, so this has to go, like somewhere else, something else has to go in this guy's place. And this guy goes over here. So now this is the clay flute. Okay, and this is in the cave, so this gets that reverb, and it gets also the delay, that echo. Okay, now the chanter pipes are going into the wrong place. Ah, this one. So this one has to move. We get something else in its place. These are the chanter pipes. Okay, and this will get reverb whenever the... like, not here. This will actually not get reverb, like, here. So we want to say that this is 0. But it will get this here. And not only that, but here we need it to sustain, because it's basically kind of like a different instrument. I don't know if I should separate those with actual different instruments or not. But for now we'll go for this. This is, I need to go into chanter pipes, and then we change the sustain level. So, and it's nice enough to go and find me the, no it's not. Oh, there it is. So we go to sustain full here. Yeah. It's like fierce, unending. And then here the sustain is 0. Okay, but here we want whatever the normal amount is. Let's reset it. Control I. And then here we want it not to go to the master, so it goes 0. Instead it just goes to reverb. Okay. And maybe the chanter pipes can get also that echo, that delay. Woo, anarchy. Nice. Okay, and then I think at least we can take out the reverb whenever it's doing that. It's doing the main melody. What is the snap here? I want it to be a bar. No. Okay, so select that part where I want it to change, and then reset. And then Control I. And then the wet knob can go down here. Nice. I like that. Am I ignoring people now? Let me see. You ever gotten takedowns in the past? If not, then I don't know why Church of Kondo gets them. Which let's see. Well, I haven't gotten takedowns except I've only gotten like share like the thing that says you have to share revenue with the copyright owner. And sometimes that'll say like it'll say, hey, you're using this song's melody, and it recognizes that I'm doing a cover. Sometimes it would like falsely recognize that it was the original song, but now it recognizes that it's a cover. Sometimes it even like says like someone will claim the copyright, like it'll be a cover of the like one time like I got a takedown for Aquatic Ambience, and it said, hey, yours is, but it didn't even say the original Aquatic Ambience. It cited it as a cover, as a cover of another Aquatic Ambience cover. So basically I was sharing copyright owner with someone else that covered Aquatic Ambience, and I had to dispute it and say, hey, that's not right. But I don't know why Church of Kondo is getting them. Maybe because they, as far as I can tell, they use they use the game's software to play the thing. Like they run it through like, I think to make their restorations, they run it through like software that actually simulates the original, but like it instead substitutes these new samples, like higher quality samples. So I would say, based on my limited knowledge, it might be because they're actually using game software to play it, whereas I'm actually just like technically just covering the song. They can't do anything. We'll see. I don't know. I hope that's why, because I hope I don't get taken down. We shall see. But I'm gonna keep on doing it until I do. What's the name of what software are you using? FL Studio. Fruity Loops. What's your favorite DKC tracks? Probably Mining Melancholy and Stickerbush Symphony, Hothead Bop, and all that. Forest Interlude, of course, Aquatic Ambience, and all that stuff. Love watching these live on replay. Thanks for doing this. Glad you enjoy it. Welcome, Grateful Dog. You're very grateful. Welcome, Simon Watches. Yeah. That's all you got, but Church of Congo gets a bunch. Some people in the comments channel blame the company involved in said game. I don't know much context beyond that. Well, you mean the company involved in said, yeah, like Nintendo, right? Like the company, like, or the car, because they have multiple games game companies that they cover. But I also have multiple game companies that I cover, so I don't know what the reason is for that. The only thing that I would say is different is either the fact that they are using like a certain software that emulates the game's song. Either that or it's just like random coincidence that they got taken down and I didn't. So I don't know. I'm not an expert in any way on that business legal stuff. So anyway, let's see what are we gonna call this? Let's see. This is like, oh, this is just the pipe melody. Clay pipes. And this will also get like, let's see. Why is there should be none at all, no sound at all from that? Oh, of course. Playing tricks on me. Okay, and the echo here. Let's set some things. First, we want to enable this, Control I, and then put it like 25%. And then Control I here, and then go to like 50% here. And then most importantly is the timing. So here the timing is low because it's so it makes it a short echo. Then we want to go to time 1. I think it's here. Let's keep pitch so you don't hear when it changes. And it's a little loud, so let's turn it down a bit. Nice. Okay, now let's create a new pattern. And then now we go to the hammer dulcimer. This will be a fun one. So there was there wasn't really a dulcimer in either of those regions, but it sort of gives this feeling of a Middle Eastern stringed instrument. Even since the actual instrument is not really widely available in samplers, this one sounds nice. It's also, well, it could be considered a santur, and a santur is also, I think, somewhat Middle Eastern, somewhat Arabic or Middle Eastern. But I had an idea for a tune of this. What if you have the, you know how, because Dave always had these repeating riffs where it would like do it, or you would always repeat those riffs. So what if we have a repeating riff for this one? Let's see. That sounds great with the release. Let's try that. So it basically would be in quarter notes. Let's take it as a beat. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. Okay. That's too slow. Bum, ba, ba. Okay, that sounds good. And there was also in the tune, in the harmony of that second melody, that there was a harmony that does like dun dun. I kind of like that for this, so. So dun, da, 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 da. That should be an octave lower. Oh, then wouldn't it be nice if you like you do like a run up like wow, something like yeah that. But this one has to be. Ah, we forgot a space here. Shift and left. And then you do dun 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 dun. Like then I want to sort of like dun 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 dun. Nice. That's fun. I like that. That run up and down sounds like it'd be cool for an intro. Kind of like the opening of Love Me Too. I don't know that song, but yeah, that's a very common. If you're talking about that run at the beginning, like, or this one, this is like, yeah, it's kind of common. It's like a very 80s sounding. Love Me Too sounds like something from the 80s, so maybe is that something from the 80s? I don't know. Well, but either way, welcome Peter Brensinger. Hey, it's DJ PTB. Oh, that's a fun tongue. Always glad to see you doing your thing, man. Glad to hear it from one musically inclined person to another. My hypothesis is that some random worker at Nintendo who targets that channel. That'd be funny. It's like I'm like this channel killed my father. I must have revenge. Like they just target that for like no reason. I don't know. That's like it could be like they heard about it and they haven't heard about me. How much am I more popular than Church of Kondo? I don't know. I guess I can't know because the channel got taken down. But if it's like more popular, then maybe that would make sense. If it's not more popular, that wouldn't make sense. But it's possible. Restorations are really good and you're talented. Thank you, Android. That means a lot coming from a robot. Thank you. Channel Wars. Yeah, you have more subscribers. Nice. Well, I don't know then. I have no idea. But either way, sad to see him go. R.I.P. They offered the like a lot of people went to that channel if they wanted something more accurate because they like basically got closer to the system, whereas I'm like anything that's related to compression, I'm going to bypass it, including like short samples and like single samples. The fact that you use only single samples, so a lot of people like preferred them for that, which was great that they had the option. Now they don't, or maybe they still do. I don't know if the stuff is floating around, but anyway, this is good. I like this dulcimer stuff. So let's go find verse empty. The Nye flute is similar to the clay flute, so I feel like that could be a good harmony. It's also more mysterious than the clay flute, so I feel like it could potentially replace that in the future. Perfect. So let me go and get that melody. Alt C to change the color, and nice. I like the flow. I can also like that that crescendo when it gets to the higher note. Nice. And this one we can also we can re-enable. I kind of like this one being echoey like that. Sounds more mysterious. Lovely. You can also do... This can be like a good harmony for the chant, for the horns. Let's see, let's copy that into there. And then Alt C to change the color, and I feel like that's going to be too low. Shift C, Control up. No, this is doing the whole thing. They're all that color, so you can't do that. Control, let's see, Control up. Nah, too low. Nice. Killer. Okay, let's move on. Metal Sansa. Basically just a little plucky thing. Like a kalimba sort of thing. I don't want to use too much kalimba type stuff. I kind of mostly want this as like a harmony instrument, like, because I like where it goes. Doesn't sound good going down to up. I like that. Let's roll with that. Obviously, I like it because I'm playing it so much. So we have to go down from down to up. And then let's Control B. Duplicate it. So and then on that third phrase, you go Oh, it's too slow. Control A, select all, and then Control Q to quantize. So this, I think the next part is like you do you do Control B and then go down a whole step and then up, Control Shift, up and then up a third. Nice. And then what about the harmony on the how about the harmony on the B melody where it's like you go but I think it's like a half every half bar in this case. Although I kind of like it more going up. And then I kind of like it going like this. I kind of might bring these up an octave. Actually, maybe bring this whole thing up an octave for an extra dimension. Interesting. Why is this there? Okay, I want to do, so then it goes like this, but I want it to end like that, but I want it to lead up going here, if that makes sense. So only not this, but nice, and then that leads right back into there. Okay, and then that will get its own mixer track in the form of 13 and 14. And it should be auto-mapped, so it should go right somewhere free. But except that's not free, so we have to move that. Let's hold, and I'm holding Alt to do this, and pushing the arrow keys. Let's call this Sansa. I like the reverb on that. Let's give it chorus so that it simulates stereo, because it's very mono. So let's make it less and slower. And then let's give it some delay. Let's give it... Yeah, I like that bounce of the slapback delay. That's called slapback delay when you do it. When you do a really quick... When you do a delay of less than a step, I call it slapback. And when you do it like between a step, like a when it's like a, or it's like a little bit more than it's echo, then it's delay when you have it longer. Okay, and let's give it an exciter. And also saturation. It's a kind of a low quality sample. Alright, so let's call this Sansa. And that reverb is overwhelming, so let's turn it down. Actually, it would probably be better to just turn it off. I don't know, but I think, yeah, I think because you can't really turn out, it's going to do that for the rest of the composition, so I can't really do that. But actually, I don't need to automate it because I never even wanted it to have that much reverb in the first place. So I can just route to this track only. And then I can add custom reverb on top of that. Only 10%. And then Hall is fine. Actually, it doesn't sound like I thought it would. Oh, that's good. I like that. Nice. I like that. Okay. There's some percussion here that we have. Let's try that on channel 8. Appalachian dulcimer or the center? Ah, yeah, the center is Persia and Turkey. Okay, makes sense. Shared on FB and Blue Sky. Sorry, I missed the other stream. I haven't had the chance. Thanks for sharing. Nice. So we're trying to consider it originates from the psaltery. The strings are differences. The strings are hammered, not plucked. Yeah, I guess that's so. Don't really. I don't want to read into it too much, but that's good to know. I wonder there's a counter. I wonder there's a way you can counterpoint between the dulcimer and the flute. That's a nice idea. I'll do that. Like you can do. Because there's a part where he goes. And he does kind of this fugue in a way. So we can probably like riff off that. DK and Eveline Fischer missing. I'm definitely into this now. Welcome, Lassen. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I tried. Yeah. So that's a good idea. We'll do that. And welcome, Torvo Sheza. But, so let's see what we can do with, let's see, the percussion. Percussion will be fun. La. So I have a mix of percussion here that I've found. I think, oh, this is like nice. It's like a nice, has a nice eerie ring to it. I like that. Sort of kind of has an eerie thing to it. Let's call that a go-go's. Let's find first empty. Oh look, here's a... First one is this. It's very quiet. And then so are the go-go's, I think. But they're supposed to be quiet, so we can lower them down. And then raise the volume of the general thing to 0. And find first empty. Kind of like this. Nice. No, that's a timbale. I don't want a timbale for this. Ooh. Got a big old bass drum. Ooh, I like this. I'm gonna put that into a different one. Let's call this main beat, because I'm gonna make a main beat out of this. And then call this extras. I think that's the same sample as just quieter, unless there's like a velocity thing going on here. No. But I like the sound of this. It scratches the brain in just the right way. It sounds like a nice scratch. I don't know, abstractly. But I want to do this sort of thing where it's like... I like that sound. That's really cool. Let's call this clicky percussion. What even is this called? I'm gonna stop that for a second. Cricket. Oh, okay. Cricket. Sort of does sound like a cricket. It's kind of abstract, like the kind of works as abstract sound effects. Let's go back to the main beat and see what else we get. Viber slap. I like this for the main beat. Ooh, I like this for the downbeat. Ooh. Okay, this one, let's make it outer. Let's see. Percussion is kind of my weak point, so I'm kind of gonna have to work on this a little bit. I don't know about this one. Ooh. Ooh, I like this. I think this one would probably shouldn't be here. And this should be an extras. Ooh, this is a nice thing to start a phrase with. Let's do that as like a finger symbol. It's called a finger symbol, I think. There you go. I don't know if I need more drums like that. Let's see. I think that'll do for now. Let's call this extras. That'll be for some from extra energy later on. Bongos. Not sure if we need those. Anyway, let's move on. Master, someone hacked Nintendo. Someone hacked Smash Bros. And Nintendo does nothing about it. Interesting. Nice. Okay, so there's a slit drum that I have, which is like an African sort of thing, but it also sounds a lot like some of the instruments the Aztecs had, so it's like crossover there. So, and it's a tune thing. Not sure what to do with that yet, but we'll see. How much time do we have? I'm at 2 hours and 2 hours and some change. Let's see. We'll have to see what to do with that later. I'll do that. I'll have lots of pieces, so I might not do much more. Stereo soothing. What is this again? Another flute slash horn thing. Then we have the bamboo. Ooh, this is fun. I like this one. I want to do a melody with that. This is like, what is this, tin? No. Lovely. Okay, so dum da dum 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 da 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 dum. Let's find verse empty and call this bamboo. And I want that melody, the main melody. Let's control and then I'll drag this. Copy and go to bamboo. Paste and then Alt C to change the color and Control A to select it again because I think there's a space here, so, which I don't want. There we go. Okay. Man, I'm getting tired from all this. Might have to call it quits soon. I'll build like a simple arrangement, then I'll go. Oh, one thing I found interesting was that let's see. Find first empty. There's a choir. And the choir works. So we can get that harmony there in here. And then Alt C to change color. That's too low. But it sounds nice on the bass there too. Yeah. Nice. So there's that, and I wanted to do. There was like on the high notes, it sounds like a little like Native American chant, like the Comanche call, like the famous like. And if you put vibrato on that, it would sound a lot like that. I kind of like that for a thing. Oh, one thing I was missing is like, so the way that Dave usually, I kind of want to write the main theme with taking some notes from Dave, and the way Dave does that is he makes like he starts with sound effects, right? And so one thing I had in mind is that we can use the wind from Donkey Kong 64. Have that come in. So it sets the mood, so to speak. And then I thought about, so the you have this Aztec death whistle, right? And so I took one, I looped it so that it runs. It loops like that. And so it almost sounds like wind if you change the pitch. So it sort of sounds like wind, like whistling wind. We could use that. That would be fun. So, and also, let's do one at a time. Let's call that, call this wind. Do like a wind track. No, this is, what's happening? This is the choir. And then I want to make another pattern. Let's go with the chant first. Let's do... And then that would play like rhythmy, like whoa, and then it's like every bar, you know. Okay, so, and then you could also have a let's call this chant, like a Comanche chant. And let's go find. We might have to put vibrato on that later. That would be fun to put vibrato on it. Because it would be like, let's see. Okay, LFO sine, this is the vibrato. And then you can modify the speed. Oh, I like that. But then, of course, we don't want that on the regular choir, so let's drag an automation knob to that. And then now we can go and say, here's this is it here, intensity. So let's control I while we're here in this thing, but in the choir, we want that to be 0. We want there to be no vibrato. Okay. And let's call this, let's make a new pattern and call it choir bass, because I want to try using the choir in the bass. Remember how at one point in Primal Rave, they had that low choir? Except that the song is down here. So we could do like a deep bass thing. And then do, dee, do. And then you can introduce it with this da-do-dum. But then you have to put a downbeat here. And then you would have to go with the E. Then we go up to C. Oh wait, maybe we can start it up here. Oh, it actually is 1 bar. Hold on. Do. Do dum. Or maybe you can go down here for like some extra doom. And then I think there's a variation there, but I don't know it without getting to the melody. Okay, interesting. So, what other ideas do I have? I have lots of ideas. All I have are ideas. The song title, like Angry Aztec, I guess the ancient Aztec mythology exists in the Mario DK universe. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know much about the Mario DK universe thing. But I guess so. Maybe they're Aztecs. So, what else is there? I could also, well, we'll say that for next time. But we could also come in with the I like those strings, how those strings work with this. So we can do that same thing where we do da do dum. Okay. These two need to be connected. Okay, and then you can go into the whole, let's see. And then let's extend this out. And let's Control G to connect the notes. Nice. So that's a good chord progression. Let's call this strings 2. Dun, 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 dun. Let's find first empty. And let's see. Can try that. Oh, I think I already did that actually. Let's try the Aztec death whistle. And maybe make like 8 bars of like wind. So let's let's do like an LFO with the oh wait, you have to go to channel pitch and then do note LFO and make it like it's changing. But only slightly. Maybe faster than that. And then maybe vary it a little bit with the end. Nice. Lovely. And then that would of course get reverb. So let's call this death whistle. We'll give it a track and then we're gonna give it reverb. Doesn't sound as long. Let's call this wind. And then we'll give it an envelope Well, make it basically like give it some attack. And then give it long decay. Oh, it needs to be shorter than that, I guess. Longer than that. I think I'll leave it at that. But anyway, this is. I don't know that we need that anymore. But I do want to bring in. There was another sort of shaker as like a rain stick. I thought that would make a nice ambience, like the sound of sand moving and stuff. Or maybe rattlesnakes. Either that, one of those I think would do. That one's too short, but yeah, this one is like the wind going through trees or something, or it could be that could be a lot of things. It's nice and abstract, so I was like, maybe this would work. The wind scream wind might be a bit much, but I don't know. Maybe we'll make that quiet. And then have this like a couple times. Nice, so maybe we start with the main beat and a finger cymbal. I think that finger cymbal should be louder. Nice. So let's bring all of these things down a bit in the here, and then to make room for like other instruments. And this is just tentative. I don't know if I'll actually use it or I'll do something else, but let's see. I kind of like the way the original started with a melody, like and then just kind of like brought in a heavier arrangement after that. You know, my fan right now. Thank you, Payaz. Welcome. By the way, how often do you use FL stock plugins? I imagine you'd have fun with Citrus or Harmor. I can't say much for the drum libraries. Oh, that's a good question. Citrus is good. Harmor is good. I use those often. Those are my like go-to synths because they're good stock synths. They work very well. And Yeah, but the FL Studio is tricky because the samples end up being like not so good, and actually most of the stock plugins I don't like. I use 3x OSC for simple stuff, like when I need to generate a simple sine wave or a noise. It's perfect for that because it's just a sine wave. But I like the drums that come with it a little bit, like some of the drums, especially the mode audio stuff is good. I use those sometimes. Now, the regular drums are not really that good. I don't like these very much. They're very, like, mono and not very interesting. Yeah, I don't like these very much. They're just kind of like, this is nice, but these are kind of like bland, and I don't use them. But the mode audio ones are very nice. I like those. They're interesting. Yeah, see, this is interesting. I like this. I don't like the other stuff much. But mostly, and I don't use any of the instruments. Definitely not. Definitely, FL Studio is not known for its, like, samples of acoustic stuff. Maybe some of the vocal stuff I might use. But I mostly use, like, free drum sample packs that I've found over the internet and I've downloaded, and like Contact Instruments, I mostly use those. And then when I need synths, I usually use Harmer and Citrus, because I like those. But then I have for real instruments, I have like some assorted VSTs that I've accumulated. Some are paid, some are not. Hold on. Anyway, sampler libraries can be a hassle depending on the context. Usually, if you're not careful, what you get out of it sounds fake or costs gigabytes of storage. Superior drummer isn't a joke. Yeah, most things that are going to be good are going to cost you like a lot of stuff. The problem is that like when they use lots of samples, it's tricky. But with instruments, I like to use physically modeled synthesis plugins like SWAM. SWAM instruments are great, and those like are very economic in terms of storage. But sampled stuff is going to take a lot of if it's a good sampled thing, it's going to take a lot of space. And so yeah. Superior drummer, yeah, I use for drums I use Addictive Drums. I like those, and it seems pretty economic in terms of storage. I haven't really checked up on that. But so actually, I kind of want to bring in that first chant. Let's see. Okay, so then we come in with, like, let's duplicate this. I want to come in with a melody. Maybe the clay pipes. Or maybe we could use this. Oh wait, maybe we can do this. Ah, I like that. Now the wind has got to fade out before long. That guy keeps on going, doesn't he? I think, yeah, I want this. Let me put an envelope on this so that it doesn't play whenever it's not going. But the wind can stop after a while, after like once the melody comes in at least. And then I kind of want, yeah, I like that. I want that to kind of repeat again. And then we can add in the, what is the other one that does that? The horn? Or is it the chanter pipes? Yeah. I think I want the wind, the death whistle wind, to come up. Now the clay pipes can come down a bit. Or at least the... Oh, is it like... Okay, there it is. Oh, you know what would be great? What about that bass from what's it called? Forest Frenzy. That would be a great addition to this. Let's go and get that Donkey Kong Country bass. And let's find first empty and call this acoustic bass. Okay, so it's got to be a C, I think. Let's give it, let's use loops, and then have it, yeah, give it some attack. No sustain, maybe a little bit of a release. Let's put it to full velocity. Whoops. Sorry. Now this is really quiet. Oh, there it is. I want this to peak at 6, as we want basses to do. Okay, now let's give that a mixer track. Give it chorus. And saturation. And then let's insert a, let's put it down here. Interesting, okay, so... I think they might have a bit much going on here. Maybe we can remove something. I would say... Oh, so either the drum beat or the thing. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's get the drums in here. And the guy chanting. Okay, and then let's see. Well, I think we need something else here. This guy chanting is a little too loud, I think. Okay, what else do we need here? Yeah, maybe there's the bass. Okay, I have one more idea to impart. So remember one of the things I want to use a technique from Dave, which is the wave station wave sequence. You know what I'm talking about? The one that like it starts out in Fear Factory and then the bass line of aquatic ambience and all that, like that sequence of different sounds that play in rhythm and bass and make a thing. But anyway, first, let's see. Ah, yes, physical modeling. Moto drum, moto bass. I have moto bass. Moto bass is free, but I don't have moto drum. I have to look into that. I like moto bass is my go-to when I need a bass guitar. What do you think of Metal Sonic in the Sonic CD movie? Will he talk or not? I don't know. There's gonna be a Sonic CD movie? I didn't even know about that. I don't know lots of Sonic stuff. Okay, so let's try to make. I want to try to do a like one of those bass sequence things. That would be cool. Let's try it. Let's start with this, and then let's kind of go through what we have that would work for that. One of the pipes we might do. Oh, one of the chanter pipe might work for that. Let's see. I like how it's just going to be a bunch of multicolored things here in the contact channel. Let's see. Ooh, the center would be good here. Ah, except that it doesn't allow the thing to go that low, so we could remedy that by doing this. Going into the mapping, extending it. Now the only problem is that all of these they kind of have effects and stuff, and they don't really allow for that sort of thing. I think this one is a bit too abstract. Yeah, and this one's like headache, so it might help if we might have to take like samples of all these sounds and then just yeah, that probably would be the thing to do. This one needs to go. I like that clicky sound. That's cool. Let's go for yeah, let's go record it in Edison. Okay, and then let's Let's trim the side noise on that. And then let's drop that into the channel rack. And let's try to trim out the transient here, the beginning. Okay, and then this is going to be a note F. It's going to be down here, so let's make sure we remember that. Ah, oh, that could be the right note. Yeah, it's probably better lower. He usually did it lower like that. Okay, in the center. Okay. So let's normalize that, and then let's trim it down to this. And also trim the side noise. And then let's drag it in there. And let's set the root note to be a low F. Move that. And let's kind of make it short. Then let's go to, what is that? Oh, this is the bamboo thing. Ooh, this is good. Nice. Slit drum. Okay. And then we can do one that's like an octave like he always used to do. Okay, this one I want to do, this one would be best for a low note. Which one is this one? Comes after the drum. Swelling. Take this and extend it. Let's raise it. Alright, I think the thing needs to be louder. Oh, it's the bamboo. Nice. I think that's good enough length. Nice. We can maybe use that here. Oh, that's clashing big time with the bass. Could be put an octave up, but we'll see. Maybe that'll just replace the bass in some parts. Or maybe this part. Except I think it's too much going on. Okay, and I think the wind can continue here. And then it ends there. Maybe the tempo can go down. And then the whole choir arrangement thing comes in. But I don't know. Try to sing Japanese OST for Sonic if possible. There's some good electronic songs. Cool, I'll check that out. So, I think this will be a good place to stop. We got about halfway through the song, I'd say, or probably no. This is well over halfway. This is like I think maybe 3 parts to this would do well. So we do this part, this intro, and then you do full arrangement. And then we have at least 30 seconds of the full arrangement. Well, actually, we could do like 2.5 minutes. So maybe we have 1 more minute of the full arrangement, and then that would conclude it. Although we might want to get into it sooner, because I think in the original you did like da do, like right after here you did da do da do da do. And I kind of want, it needs to be faster. 97 works. And then I think, and then it went into the full arrangement, because it would get kind of boring if you go like straight from the thing. But I think you can go from this one too, and then it just does. But that sounds good so far. And then I want it to go into the full arrangement after that. But, you know, I'm kind of tired, so we'll do that tomorrow probably. And yeah, we'll continue this. We got about halfway through the song, I'd say. And I want to do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, this is in a new project, and then I might do this one in the same project or a different project. Like the next one would be Gloomy Galleon, I think. Even though it's not necessarily the third, it's not actually the third world, but I would like to do it there. That was the most interesting. And then, yeah, it'll be like a thing. So that's where, I think that's where I'll cut it for today, because I want to go and do some stuff outside. I want to go outside. Fun is infinite world. Fun is infinite would sound really creepy. Restored. What's that? Oh, is that Sonic? Thank you, great work. And thank you, Emperor Kagado. Welcome, Reiko Splinter. Okay, so that's where we'll cut it for today. And we'll be back probably tomorrow. I'll probably do some more fun stuff tomorrow. But thanks, guys, for coming to the stream. And this will be Jam and Sam signing off. Until next time. Let me save this. No, don't save as. Alright, thanks, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. And take care. Ciao.